Hello, everybody. Thank you for clicking on. Yes, it is the World Sit Rep for a Friday night on the Doofus After Dark American Doofus channel. Thank you for joining. Chris joins at 9 o'clock and hasn't been with us since Monday night. A lot has happened since then. So I'm going to hop over into the chat. Nobody's there yet. That's cool. You can chat by going to the YouTube platform and looking for American Doofus channel. I think that and Twitch are the only two ways you can chat. True, thank you for joining. Again, thank all of you for joining. If you're watching, if you're not watching live, you're watching at your convenience. I appreciate that as well. Thank you very much. You want to get a hold of me, americandufus@gmail.com, and let's get rolling along. Let me see. I've got a bunch of stuff to talk about tonight. Let's start with a map. We got a map that shows a month of war as far as the Israeli Defense Force perspective and its aerial defense array. This is showing the missile and drone attacks across Israel. With the Red Sea, Alada, I think how that is pronounced, and Hardor, the farthest north. That so basically from end to end, and of course around here's Gaza, this strip right here, where most of those missiles have been fired from. However, some of them have been fired from up here, which is Lebanon, on the northern border. And I think I've got one. Okay. Let's get this political news out of the way fairly quickly here, shall we? Yes. New York City Mayor Eric Adams, all of his electronic devices have been seized by the FBI. This was 1 hour ago from ABC News. So this is breaking. New York City's mayor, Eric Adams, has had all of his electronic devices seized by the FBI. What purpose? We shall see. Local election workers have been under siege since 2020, and now they face fentanyl-laced letters. This I don't think this has been a big a story as it should be. This is a precursor to what's going to be coming in 2024 as far as intimidating election people. I think we'll probably see in areas people with firearms outside of voting locations. There'll be a lot of voting locations shut down. Voting is going to be limited. And one of the two major candidates has already said that this is going to be the last election, saying that if he wins, there won't be any more elections. That's the same thing that Hamas did when Palestine put them into power. Just saying. Election workers. Fentanyl-laced letters. There were, if you don't know this story, again, it comes from the Associated Press about 5 hours ago. There were letters laced with fentanyl sent to some of the states. There were threatening letters sent to multiple states, but according to the initial reports, not all of them had fentanyl in it. It's been downplayed by some, saying that, it's no big deal, some fentanyl on an envelope is not going to kill somebody. 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be deadly, depending on the size of the person, depending on if they've ever ingested fentanyl before. I saw a video of a police officer that accidentally opened the trunk of a car. He didn't accidentally. He opened the trunk of the car on purpose, not knowing there was fentanyl inside it. And within seconds, he was down and would have died if his partner didn't have Narcan. So every election office in the United States will now be, or should be, forced. I mean, they're going to be forced to. I'm not talking about law forcing them. I'm talking about circumstances make it a necessity. All right, that's what I mean by forced. They're going to have Narcan on hand in case they open up one of these letters. And again, it's just another form of intimidation. On a totally different note, but yet something that I've been wanting to touch on because, stop it. I've been wanting to touch on it because we talked a lot about it before all the wars started intensifying wars. Aliens or a foreign power. This comes from The Hill 12 hours ago. Pentagon UFO chief says someone is in our backyard. Okay. I'd recommend you go read this article after we're done here tonight if you have any interest at all in one of two things, either the possibility that there's a base in our backyard. Let's just put it that way. Is it China, Russia, or the aliens? That's something to think about. Let me get to this. Okay, here we go. One more of our maps. This shows the 47 attack, comes from Fox News. The 47 attacks on U.S. military forces that have happened since October the 17th. What I'm hearing is the number's over 50 as far as servicemen injured, service people, men and women injured. This comes from news story, U.S. carrier strike group en route to Persian Gulf from 2 hours ago. We've told you that a long time ago that the Ike was heading to the Persian Gulf. Okay. Just about an hour ago, U.S. military strikes Iranian military facilities in Syria. So we're getting closer and closer to direct attacks. The United States, in appearances, wants a war with Iran. Again, we can debate the motivations, and we will. Massive Hamas-linked protest sparks fear of a U.S. embassy attack. The State Department put out today warnings worldwide for any Americans living abroad and anyone potentially considering travel. So, again, something to think about. There's that story. Again, came in 4 hours ago. Israel's hunt for Hamas puts Gaza's Al-Shifa hospital under siege. This is one of the streams I monitor, is one that's just outside the hospital. It has been dark for a while. This came in 39 minutes ago. Basically, the hospital is surrounded by tanks, and another hospital, a courtyard, was hit, and another hospital today, and civilians were, of course, injured in that. I don't have a full report on that yet. But going along with BBC News, Israel Gaza Live updates a mass exodus from Gaza hospital. Iranian foreign minister warned Israel Hamas war expansion has become inevitable. So all we're doing here is running through and showing you things that are just indicators of what's about to come, and in my personal opinion, what's about to come as the entire Middle East is about to be inflamed. Senator Joe Manchin, some politics here, won't seek re-election, and that supposedly weakens the Democrats' chance of holding power. It depends on who the Democrats put up. We're talking about West Virginia, so you can't put up a flame-throwing liberal in West Virginia and hope to win. You've got to find a middle of the road Democrat, if you would, someone that most Democrats are going to just despise, because the politics have become so divided. But something that's missing. Why did Manchin decide this now? Was it to give the Democrats a fair chance at finding an adequate replacement and retaining the seat? Or is it because he might consider president himself on the Democratic ballot? Something to think about, something to, the back of the mind to remember down the road. Russia's nuclear move sparks NATO fears. This came in 8 hours ago. Russia's moving more weapons near the borders. Putin death rumors intensify after his successor refers to him in past tense. And this was 11 hours ago. And I'm going to touch on this. I know Chris is there waiting. Thank you, man, for your patience. We'll get right there. This guy, Nikolai Patrushev, former head of the FSB security service and seen at Moscow's most sinister spy master, dressed in black, and gave a eulogy to the autocrat, which sounded more like an obituary. He referred to him in the past tense, and the rumors appear impossible, almost comical, yet they only increase by the day. And Putin's lover has vanished and has not been seen in public since the dictator was reported by several sources to have died. So you want to talk misinformation? Maps show Biden's nuclear bomb. We got a new nuclear bomb, supposedly, compared to the most powerful weapons we currently have. Or it's in the process. We're real close to this new bomb. 23 hours ago, and again, this comes from Newsweek. And hold on a second. All right. Check this article out on Newsweek. I'm not going to wait until the actual map comes up. You can just search Newsweek and map, and you'll find it. Talking nuclear blast map shows possible impact on North Korea's top rivals. All right, and again, we got a commercial. Hang with me here for about 10 seconds because I do want to show this map and show you where. Here we go. We can skip it here. All right. I had these all queued up. Now we don't. So I'll show them the next time I'm on. I'll be on either tomorrow at some point or Sunday, more than likely Sunday evening, and make sure and show these maps. Another Newsweek North Korea story. North Korea is, quote, preparing for war with nuclear weapons buildup. Freelance reporters paid by CNN and New York Times raised ethical questions. They were embedded with Hamas during the attack. And this comes from the Western Journal, and I want to touch on this with Chris as well. Protests going on, students out, a lot of pro-Palestinian support all around the world, and we're going to talk about what that means here in in just a moment. Um, Cubans are scrambling to migrate by any means necessary. From Reuters, and primarily what they are doing is they're going to Nicaragua and then coming overland states, as you can see right here, to Nicaragua, overland the United States. It is the frenzy to migrate from the communist-run island, and it's because Cuba's economy is tanking, and people are trying to escape. I think that is it for now. Once again, what we started with, the missile and rocket attacks that Israel has. Many of these have been intercepted. For the first time in history, they had to use a long-range missile to try to intercept another ballistic missile that was incoming, and they've done that. This makes the second time now that supposedly they have engaged in space warfare, but this was the first time ever using the missile that they used. So that brings us up to 9:03, and I'm a little bit tardy in doing this, but it is time to welcome in Chris. Hello, Chris.
Hey, how are you, Barry?
I'm good. Am I breaking up a little bit?
No, I just want to actually get ready to ask you the same thing. Am I breaking up or am I clear?
No, you're good. You're good.
Good.
5x5. Always be kind says I'm breaking up a little bit. I hope not. So how you doing?
Good, man. Good. And yourself?
I'm hanging in there.
Good.
I worked on a vehicle today.
Uh,
I've had vehicle problems as I talked to you off air, and I'm trying to get this 2003 vehicle running so that so I've got a vehicle, number one. But anyway, so I was torquing on some lug wrenches today,
okay.
torquing with a lug wrench on some lug nuts, I should say, and I'm a little sore, man. I'm a little sore, but other than that, I'm good. So let me say hello to Michelle, not going away, always be kind, Pat Tolliver. And we haven't talked since Monday, but there's been a lot of things happening, including, it seems like a long time ago, but just last Friday, we were talking about the speech that Nasrallah had given, and how it was kind of confusing, and how he seemed to distance himself from Hamas and say Hamas planned all this, that Hezbollah had nothing to do with it, Iran had nothing to do with it, and it seems like possibly now that he might have been telling a little bit of the truth anyway, in that Hezbollah's more concerned about maintaining Lebanon and specifically natural gas and possibly oil rights in the Mediterranean off the Lebanese coast.
Exactly. And I'm glad you brought that up, just for the simple fact. Remember I told you, and I've told the audience before, that economics and resources are the norm. That's the biggest reasons people really go to war. It's not religion.
And it's the most powerful tool to use against another country.
Right. So
even more powerful than war.
That it is, right? So there's a oil gas platform out there off the coast of Lebanon, right? And Israel and Hezbollah are actually fighting over this gas rig or whatever it is. And
Israel supposedly built the platform, and they built it in what they say is international water, but what Lebanon says is their water, and the UN agrees.
Right. So this is where the dispute's going to come in, right? Israel saying it's ours, the platform is ours, and Hezbollah is saying, well, it is yours, but guess what? It's on our turf, so it makes it ours.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
the whole thing about it.
And this has been going on. This has been going on for a couple of months. This was before October 7th happened. The skirmish between Israel and Hezbollah over the oil
Right.
platform.
So this has actually been going on for the past year.
Right.
So the whole thing about it is now, what I think Nasrallah came out, even after the attacks, and he's saying, hey, Hamas did all that stuff on their own. We had nothing to do with it. And the reason I think he said that is we have our own problems here, and talking about that rig. But of course, most people don't follow what's going on over there, and they just automatically assumed that he was going to declare war and join with the Palestinians. He's like, no, we have our own problems. Like it's more or less over this oil, the oil. So, yeah.
Even the Bible, you go all the way back into the Bible, and the Bible talks about sparing the oil.
Yeah. Right. So the whole thing about it is that's if Israel and Hezbollah get into it, it'll be over those natural resources. Let you know that right now. It has nothing to do with Gaza and the Palestinians, even though that's what the media is going to put it off as, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no correlation. It'll be strictly over this this oil refinery, and check it out. It's pretty slick. It's pretty slick how they did it. They're sitting up there saying, well, if Israel doesn't, if Israel doesn't start, produce, have a ceasefire with the Palestinians, we're going to join in, and and everybody's thinking, oh, it must be because of Palestinians. No, it's not. It's because
it's not.
It's because of this oil. You see, they're fighting the oil and the location of it, because that's going to generate a whole lot of money. You see, and they can control a whole lot with that oil. You see, now if the UN saying, hey, that's on Lebanon's territory, and Hezbollah is saying, hey, you know what, that's ours, no matter what. No matter what.
And one thing I've been hearing in the background is concern of and concern of an alliance between Hamas, ISIS, the Taliban, and one other group, and Hezbollah's not included in that rumbling I'm hearing.
Yeah, so I'm not too familiar about that, but I think I told you, not you, but like the audience as well, about all those groups coming together and on Israel, right?
Right.
So,
and watch for the black flag.
Right. The black flag, the black flag is out of Coruscant, right? So, it might be like Iran, the IRGC. Okay. It's going to be, like you said, ISIS, Taliban, and Hamas going up against Israel. But eventually, Hezbollah is going to jump into it, just for the simple fact that they don't want Israel around either. And it's really not
right.
It's really not Israel per se. It's Zionism. But see, check this out, right? It's the same way they're saying they don't want Hamas around. The Israelis are saying they don't want Hamas around. And Hamas is an ideology, right? So if you get rid of the people, then you get rid of Hamas. And the opposite holds true. If you get rid of Zionism, then you get rid of the Israelis. You get rid of Israel. See?
Okay. Let's move just a little bit south of Israel to Yemen
Uh-huh.
and the Houthis. Um, there's media portraying the Houthis as the Yemen military.
No, no, no. They're entirely two different things. The Houthi rebels are like that's why they're called the Houthi rebels because they're not the
Right.
military,
That's
right?
yeah. I'm kind of wanting to. I wanted you to expand. I'm kind of pointing out that there's media that are saying they're the same thing,
No,
and they're not.
no. They're fighting against the Yemeni government. That's
That's who and to be declared war on Israel. It wasn't the Yemen government, it was the Houthi rebels.
right. It's the Houthi rebels that did that. That's who's shooting the missiles because they're a proxy of Iran.
And that's
So
who shot down and that's who shot down the US drone.
exactly. So yeah, it's like Saudi Arabia, United States, UAE are all aligned with the Yemeni government, right? And people that are opposing the Yemeni government are going to be the Houthi rebels, which is backed by Iran. Right? So
Because Iran opposes the anything other than total Muslim dominance of the region.
exactly. Well, here's what you have to be concerned about. You have to really be concerned about those Houthi rebels launching attacks on the Saudi Arabia and hitting those oil fields, the oil
Yeah.
refinery. Okay,
Yeah.
that's like really big because if that occurs, um, oil prices are just gonna shoot
And
straight through.
it's been a while back, but Iran attacked the Saudi oil fields.
Right, right. So it's could you imagine if Iran and the Houthi rebels both attacked Saudi's oil
Yeah,
sector?
I mean, we're talking now. Now, when you say attack, now it's a ballistic missile.
Right, exactly.
It's not like a squad of infantry.
No, oh no, oh no, it's going to be missiles and rockets
Yeah,
going straight
yeah.
to Saudi Arabia. So and that's why I think that's why Saudi's asking for those missile defense systems to be
Of
brought in.
course. Yeah,
So so they don't lose all that oil because that's
and
exactly what happened.
and we're going to put the defense systems in there because we want that oil.
Of course, we need it, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. But here's the thing. Iran has been like slowly trying to get with Saudi Arabia to get those relationships established again. Okay, that's what they're trying to do. All right. So I don't know how I don't know how far how that's going to go. Um, but I had a friend that was actually in Saudi Arabia, and he was telling me that the thing about Saudi Arabia, they said that they were afraid of Iran for the simple fact of the nukes that Iran had. So they were kind of like playing along. Hey, you know what? Um, let's just uh, maybe we should be friends. Let's feel each other out. No, no, seriously.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Let's be friends because we don't have nukes and you do, and we don't want that issue. We don't want that headache, right?
Iran's also reaching out to Turkey.
Oh, but you know what?
They hate each other, just like Iran and Saudi Arabia hate each other. So Iran is reaching out to two. It's Iran is using the art of war in that the enemy of my enemy is my friend, because eventually Israel and the United States is going to be just about everybody's enemy.
True, true. So Turkey, from what I heard, is talking about actually entering the war um, uh, against Israel, and they're actually talking about arming Hamas. So If Turkey really gets involved with this, because they can actually beat Israel. I'm not gonna lie. Right. But arming Hamas, that would be big, you know. But also South Africa.
Yes.
So I was watching this thing yesterday on Nelson Mandela and Yasser Arafat, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Mandela had gone to Gaza, right, and they were, Yasser Arafat's like, hey, you know what, we really love you, for what you did. You stood for freedom. They called you terrorist, but actually you were a freedom fighter. You fought against the apartheid system.
Yeah.
And Mandela, when Arafat went to South Africa, it was pretty much the same thing. So the other day we listened to Julius Malema,
Mm-hmm.
and he was sitting up there saying, "Hey, you know what? Yes, South Africa stands with Palestine because they understand about the apartheid systems. One in South Africa, the other one there in the West Bank in Gaza. You see, so don't be surprised if South Africa also starts arming um, Hamas because of just for the simple fact that close relationships that South Africa and and Gaza or the PLO and Mandela had together. Okay, you have to. Those are really big connections, right? And remember what I said about them being terrorists. The world calling terrorists, but then eventually they become statesmen. Well, here it
Mm-hmm.
is, right in your face. You see.
So South Africa is going to be involved. Every continent in the on the globe is going to be involved and has already in some way, shape, or form been involved, including South America, Brazil the other day. Um, you want to talk about what happened down
Yeah.
there?
So remember we talking about the Israelis and that global jihad that was
Mm-hmm.
called.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with that global jihad being called, Hezbollah, and I think I told the audience this, Hezbollah has branches all over the world. Hezbollah runs deep. Okay, they're a very, very powerful government, but then also a very, very strong military um, entity to deal with.
A
Right?
paramilitary
Yeah,
entity.
a paramilitary entity. Right. So,
Yeah.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. I was watching something online that dealt with Hezbollah, and it was called Hezbollah Brazil. And they had these kids, well, young adults, with these yellow shirts, with the Hezbollah flag on it, and they were doing CQB the same way that the Hamas was doing CQB, um, or hitting those locations on the video before they did the attack. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
they like this was posted, and I'm just like, wait, not the smartest thing in the world to do. You
Right.
post this stuff on the internet so that people know what you're doing. That's really stupid. So anyway, um, the the Brazilian government arrested two Brazilians on charges of terrorism, and Mossad said, "Hey, you know what? We want to thank the Brazilian police for doing X, Y, and Z. Blah 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 blah." And Lula and I think it was the Ministry of Justice that came out and was like, "Hey, you know what? No foreign government entity comes and tells us what to do on our own turf." Okay, so even if Israel and the Mossad had good intentions, well,
Brazil
Lula,
didn't see it that way.
yeah,
Yeah.
Brazil didn't see it that way.
And Brazil is the first letter in BRICS
Exactly, right?
in that
So,
in that alignment.
right,
But
so
and Brazil has the largest Jewish population in South America, I know, and possibly outside of Israel.
Yeah, I thought the largest Jewish population outside of Israel was in New York City or New York State. I don't know. That's
I
what I
don't.
thought, but you could be
Okay,
correct.
maybe it may. Yeah, no, you may be. It may be South America. It may be the largest Jewish population in South America. I don't know.
Okay. So, but the bottom line here is that Hezbollah has cells that can reach out anywhere in the world.
Right.
Okay. So the Israeli citizens, of course, really need to be careful. And I can tell you this for a fact: when I was in Nigeria, where I stay, you walk up the street a little bit, and I see, the Israeli or the Jewish people walking around, and because they're white, and they have their, uh, like the white shirts on with the black vest and
Hmm.
the black pants and the
Hmm.
black hat, and I'm just like, okay, all Hezbollah has to do is reach out to one of these, like maybe like Boko Haram, and they don't even have to do that because there are people from, I see people from Syria there, and all they really have to do is reach out to maybe someone from Syria, or they can do it themselves, you know, to maybe kidnap one of these Israeli citizens or do them harm, and like no one's really gonna say anything. And it could be because the Nigerian police aren't like, they're not like the top notch law enforcement agency, and I mean there are really no security cameras around that part of where I stay in Abuja, so it'd be really easy for if Hezbollah really want to touch someone in Nigeria, very easy, and pretty much it'd be easy. Like when I was in Mali, it'd be easy for them to reach out to people there in Mali too, just because of the lack of security. You see, and I'm kind of like, it's really dangerous. It's really dangerous for a lot of these Israeli citizens, but especially in Africa. Okay,
Hmm.
especially in Africa, in
Okay.
Nigeria, it like they really need to be careful because, like I said, I've dealt with the Syrians, right, and I've dealt with Lebanese, and I was really shocked at how many Lebanese people were there in Nigeria. I mean, it was there's a lot of them, a lot, and they own a lot of restaurants and hotels. So I'm like, okay, well, we're like, why would you be here on the continent of Africa? And with that, what I think they're doing, I can't prove why. What I think they're doing is raising the money for to send that back,
Hmm.
home to Lebanon and then possibly to Hezbollah. That only makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Um, I had a question. I forget what it was. Um, I titled tonight's episode, "What about the Christians?"
mhm.
We've been talking a lot about the Jewish people everywhere, how they're targets now. We've been talking about um, the anti-Muslim, the Islamophobia that's creeping up rather quickly in America. Um, but there are a lot of Christians in Israel, let alone within the Mid East region, and we're not hearing anything about that.
No,
Um,
and I mean, I'm glad you brought that up. Remember, I told you that not all Arabs, Palestinians, are Muslim. We
hmm.
had we had this discussion some time ago,
Hmm.
right? Arab, whether you be Iraqi, Egyptian, um, uh, Lebanese, Syrian, Palestinian, that's just your nationality. That has nothing to
Right.
do with your religious beliefs. Okay, so there are a lot of Christians, Palestinian Christians, there in um, the West Bank. Tons of them in the West Bank, like Bethlehem. Okay, you go up to Galilee, um, just the whole Judea Samaria district. There'll be a lot of Christians there. Right? But what the extremist Zionist Jewish people are doing, they're basically spitting on them, attacking them, hitting them, for whatever reason. But remember what I told you before about Zionism, the political Zionism and the extremism.
Yeah.
They're trying to get rid of everyone that's not Jewish, anyone that doesn't have Jewish blood, or anyone that their belief is not of Zionism. They want to get rid of. So,
and I'm going to share something real quick just to prove our point. Let me get the volume up on this. Where's it at? Okay. All right. So just one short example there of what you're talking about.
Sure enough, right? So
yeah.
And think about if they do that to the Muslims, what are they doing to the Christians, and vice versa.
And before all this happened, there have been reports of Zionists stopping Christians from getting into the Church of the Sepulchre. There have been reports of like you said, spitting on clergy and things like that. That once you're given the green light, the hostilities escalate, and Christians are just as much in danger of Zionism as Muslims. Am I wrong?
No, you're 110% correct. So here's the thing, right? It's funny how these evangelical preachers, Christians, right? They talk about how they truly support Israel. Okay. And a lot of our GOP, our Republicans, sit there and they talk about how they support Israel, but these are Christians. Okay. They should be asking the Israeli government, why are the Zionists beating up Christians when we give you all this money every year, billions of dollars, right? Why are these Christians being attacked when like a lot of these Republicans, they are staunch Christians. You see?
And the most Christian of them, Tim Scott, who constantly references biblical verses and throws back to Reagan and the shining light on the hill. He says that they need to be blown off the map. They need to be annihilated. Now, that's the least actual Christian thing you could possibly say. But yet, like you said, we're giving a whole bunch of money. Are we giving it to people that want to annihilate us as well?
So
I'm not asking you to answer that. That's a question that's just one of those something to think about for people.
But here's the thing, Barry. It's not so much that they want to eliminate us. It's the fact that they want that Jewish state to be Jewish. Period.
Okay, right. Yeah, you're exactly right. I framed that totally wrong. Yes. They want Israel to be pure Jewish, and that's going to mean Christians are eliminated from the process.
Right. So my question is to these politicians, these Republican Christian politicians, why are you giving all this money to them? Okay, but yet they're harming Christians. That's why I want to know. But you really want.
That's a great question.
But you really won't hear about that.
No, you don't hear. And Israel has attacked Catholic churches in the area, and you don't hear about that on mainstream,
No.
and because that's going to inflame Christians. Like what? Hey, whoa, okay. So my I want to quickly hold on. I want to quickly show something here as far as Jerusalem. For those that don't know, um, let me pull this up. Okay, here are just some of the holy sites just in Jerusalem, not in all of Israel, but just in Jerusalem. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre, Dome of the Rock, Western Wall, the Via della Rosa, the
Yep.
Temple Mount, the Garden Tomb, Al-Aqsa Mosque, Gethsemane, the Mount of Olives, Mount Zion, and the Western Wall, on and on and on and on and on. Now, what happens when when the Zionists decide not only are we going to get rid of Dome of the Rock, but we're going to get rid of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre as well. There are a lot of people that claim Christianity that don't have a clue what the Church of the Holy Sepulchre are because it's just a brand. But actual real Christians understand that's the holiest spot on earth for us is where Jesus supposedly was crucified and buried and then resurrected.
Right.
That's
So
what that church represents to us. So if the Zionists want us out of there, they're going to have to get rid of that because we're going to pilgrimage to that.
and you know what,
True.
Barry? You know what,
Everybody
Barry?
Christian.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
So Barry, when I was there, I did walk the Via Dolorosa, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I did visit the Church, the Holy Sepulchre. Right, but it was funny.
Mhm.
Remember I told you about the Yemeni Jews that were with us? They're like, well, now you want to go to the Garden Tomb because that's actually where all that stuff happened. But the point is that
Right. Yeah. I mean, it just represents the most holy spot. It's
right,
not, I mean,
no,
it's up for debate as to
right,
where it actually happened and everything,
right.
or if it actually happened, to be honest. But go ahead.
But here's the point. The point is, if they're going to destroy Dome of the Rock, then they have to destroy all the other Christian and Muslim spots just to make it a Jewish place. You see?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. I'm looking big picture. I don't know if others are.
Yeah.
Christians
Well,
ought to be concerned about our support for what's going on over there because it is no way tolerant. There's no tolerance being shown or having been shown from either side for a very long time.
well, and just that goes back to the extremist right wing government that's currently in office too now. Okay, so the Likud party is an extremist. That's the right wing government. Okay, so I mean, there's nothing wrong with right wing governments, but when you start seeing stuff
Right.
like, hey, the writing's on the wall. Okay,
It
so
it
so
it appears that way, but nobody's talking about what's happening to the Christians
right,
potentially anyway.
right. So I mean, the Christians. I mean, and I think I told the audience this some time ago that the Christians, Muslims, and the Jews all lived together without these problems. It was only till the Zionists came to Israel that all these problems started to occur.
Everything seemed an awful lot different back in the 60s and 70s. It seems like the 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 Muslim extremism came in as well as the Zionist extremism
Okay, so the
with the
whole
burqas and because I don't remember it like that when I
okay,
was younger.
here's the thing. Like I said, the Muslim, Christians, and Jews everyone lived in harmony. Okay, where they
Hmm.
lived, it was there wasn't the stuff that was going on now.
Right.
Zionists came in, trying to get rid of the Arabs, Palestinians. Okay, and that was their big thing: get rid of the Palestinians. From there, the Palestinians with Yasser Arafat, it was Yasser Arafat and the PLO that was like, well, Israel doesn't have the right to exist because of what they were doing to the Palestinians. It's really no different than when the Native Americans were being kicked off their land. It's really the same thing, right? So
Yeah.
now, the Zionists are saying, yeah, get rid of all these Palestinians, uh, eliminate them by whatever means necessary, right? And now the Muslims are saying, no, we're going to fight back. We're going to eliminate Zionism, which means eliminating Israel, the state of Israel. You see, it like I said, it's the same thing, just on one's Muslim and the other one's Zionist. Same thing.
Yeah.
And
And
it was
as
never,
Christian as Christians, we are not significant to either one. All right,
no.
as far as the land of Israel goes, Christians shouldn't have anything to say about it because it's not their land. But yet, to us, that is the most holy of holy sites.
To us, it is not to them.
Right, right, right.
So, um, you know, like I said, if they're going to push the Muslims out there, the Christians are next. They're working, side by side to get them both eliminated.
And the Muslims, and if the Muslims come and try to push the Israelis out, they're going to have to push the Christians out as well. So the Christians are caught either way. They're going to
Right
get
in the
pushed.
middle.
They're
Right in
going
the
to,
middle.
right, right.
But you know what? The funny thing about it is the Muslims haven't said anything about the Christians. I haven't
I
heard
know,
anything. I haven't heard anything about the Muslims say anything about the Christians. Not
I
one
know.
blessed word over there. But you
But
can see, what the Zionists are doing to the Christians, and the Zionists are doing to um, to the Palestinians, to the Muslims. So you can take it for what it's worth. But I mean, I might have been born at night, but it wasn't last night. So
I love
so
that line. That's an oldie but a goodie.
the whole thing about it is yeah, they're trying to get rid of anything that is not Zionist, Jewish related. It's that simple.
Okay. To kind of hi, peace, love, and sunshine. Hello to everybody. I just looked over at the chat. Hello to everybody in the chat. Hello to everybody watching. Hello to everybody watching uh, that aren't watching live. And no matter what platform you're on, we thank you for watching. Um, if you're watching this and somebody's restreaming it, consider coming to the channel and at least giving a like and subscribe. Would appreciate that. Um, Benjamin Netanyahu.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He is benefiting from all of this, in that there was a lot of controversy going on around him before October 7th happened. We've speculated ourselves about whether they let it happen in order to give the green light to what they wanted, what Israel wanted to do, the Israeli government under Netanyahu. Um, just by theology, the Jewish people don't believe the same thing the Christian people do. Um, from the Christian theology, and in a lot, there's like 40,000 different brands of Christianity, and each one of them thinks the other brands of Christianity are all false. They're the only ones that are absolutely correct. So trying to lump all Christianity together is insane. Um, But in assuming that all Christianity can be lumped together, anything that's not Christian would automatically be assumed could automatically be assumed to be anti-Christian. You know, if you're not for us, you're against us. If you're not for us, you know, if you're not with us, you're against us. However you want to phrase it. Um, Netanyahu is making moves that, when you put them with biblical prophecy, and you put them with Nostradamus, another prophet, Netanyahu's making some moves that could seem to be entering us into a time where both Nostradamus and the Bible have prophesied of an antichrist. Okay, um, Nostradamus, for him, it would be potentially the third after Napoleon and Hitler. There are some that say Hitler was actually the third Antichrist, because there's, talking in the Bible about what happens after the Antichrist is gone. So the Antichrist, despite Satan himself supposedly coming back according to the biblical text, the Antichrist won't be with him, or the false prophet. And some interpret Nostradamus as saying Hitler was the Antichrist, and Goebbels, the minister of propaganda, was the false prophet that spread the big lie. With all that being said, Netanyahu, could he be someone that might be someone to look at as an antichrist?
All right. So you want to talk about eschatology, because that's exactly
Yes.
what it is.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
let's we're going to wrap it up with just a little speculation.
All right. So in Christian eschatology. All right. So this basically, and I'll talk a little about Christian eschatology and Islamic eschatology as well. Right.
Okay.
So suppose in the Bible, you go to Ezekiel 38:39. All right. That's the Gog Magog war. All right.
Right.
That's when everyone comes against Israel. All right. And out of that, the Antichrist comes about to bring peace with Israel and the Islamic those countries. Right. And the 3.5 year mark, it's broken, and then we go into the tribulation. All right. So that's what's supposed to happen now. And Islamic, so it's called the Antichrist, right? But then also, um, in Islamic eschatology, it's also he's
Yeah,
also
the
called,
Quran has a different interpretation.
right. He's called Dajjal. Okay. So with this dealing with the Dajjal and Islamic eschatology, I was listening to this guy the other day, and he kind of explained it like this. He said the Prophet Muhammad sat there, and he said, it was like Pharaoh. He said the Pharaoh, the mummy of the Pharaoh would be discovered in 1897. Okay, that's when the Pharaoh would be his mummy would be discovered in 1897. As the same year that um, Theodore Herzl started Zionism. Okay. Now, one thing that people don't know about Theodore Herzl was an atheist. Okay. One, he said he did not believe in God, but furthermore, he said there was no God. Okay. So, my question to any anybody that has any belief in, we call him Yah, God, Allah, if you have no belief in God, how can you sit there and say, well, we're God's chosen people, and I'm going to take you to the land, the promised land, where God says we're the chosen people, and this is where we're supposed to be? How does that even make any sense?
It doesn't. It does make sense that the Muslims would look at Netanyahu as a potential um, um, pawn of Satan.
Right. So here's what I'm getting at. All right. So he kind of referred the Netanyahu to almost the Pharaoh. Okay. And and the Palestinians as the Israelites is they're trying to flee, Gaza and the West Bank to get away from Pharaoh. All right. So Pharaoh was vicious, and he came after. He sent all his troops after the Israelites. Remember? And Moses was leading them, all the way to the Red Sea.
Right.
And God, or Allah, whoever you believe in, parted the Red Sea for the Israelites to get away from Pharaoh. He said the same thing is going to happen there with the Pharaoh, and that being, like he's saying, almost like Netanyahu pushing the Palestinians out of Gaza and the West Bank. He's saying Allah, for the Muslims, is going to intercede in a supernatural way to prevent them from getting killed. And all the troops from those Muslim countries are going to converge on Israel, and Israel will fall. Now that's what they're saying. And out of that, the Dajjal comes about. The Antichrist comes.
You can't have a 7-year peace agreement unless you're at war.
Right.
I'm sorry, but that's just the way it works.
Right. So
you can't have so the fact that there is war there now, because you can look at Bible prophecy, you can look at wars and rumors of war, famines and pestilence and everything that Jesus talks about in the Sermon on the Mount. And that's been going on for 2,000 years. There are other things that have to kind of line up, if you will. One of which is Israel has to be at war, because you can't have a 7-year peace deal, no matter who brokers it, unless you're at war.
Exactly. And it's like everything is lining up to this right now. All right. Now, I'm not saying that's what it is. And
Netanyahu's benefiting from this war.
Yes. So who knows? Maybe this is what he's trying to do, is bring about the Antichrist. You never know.
I know Mike Pence really wanted to bring about the end times.
I mean, listen. This is something that's actually been discussed for some time now. All right. And like I hear,
we haven't discussed it on here on the show, but yeah.
Right. So the whole thing about it is that a lot of people believe in just what I've said to you. From the Christian side and from the Islamic side. And it's kind of like lining up to this. It really is.
Yeah.
So,
I know.
It behooves people just to pay attention.
Right.
To what's going on in the world, and especially that part of the world, because that's going to dictate. A lot of people sit there and say, they don't believe in the Bible. Well, guess what, people? It's happening right in front of your face. You can't deny that, right?
Yeah, and if you don't want to believe in the Bible, or believe in, if you don't, that's fine. That's it's America. That's what America was founded on, is freedom of and from religion, and we need to keep reminding people of that. We also need to keep reminding people that we're we're just objectively discussing things. We're not, we're not taking sides. We're not trying to influence one way or the other. We're just talking about how things are lining
Yeah,
up.
and that's I've always like really followed that to see like where we are, right? And
Hmm.
in the end times prophecies, and I don't think we're that far off according to what's going on here, right? So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, because there are a couple of things have been met that weren't able to be met in the past. One of which is thanks to the internet, the gospel is spread all around the world.
mhm,
You know
exactly.
that was one of the key kind of things. Um, but Jesus said in the Sermon on the Mount, for those that do believe it, um, watch for these signs. When there will be wars and rumors of war all throughout, but when these signs specifically start happening, um, that's when
That's right. That's right.
and it seems like a lot of them are lining up.
For
So
sure.
I just wanted to, I wanted to take some time in an episode and talk about it
Oh,
because,
Barry,
uh,
that's really big. It really is. That's really big. So, there was something I wanted to discuss with the audience, and
all right,
that was the things that people say to get I don't know, maybe their point across, but people really have to be cautious and really careful right now about the things that they say about this whole Palestinian um, or the whole Hamas Israeli war. Right? It came across me today that a representative from the state of Florida, during one of their meetings, had made a statement of, some lady, another representative from Florida, made the statement of, how many Palestinian children have to die, and she was like, well, they all need to be killed, kill them all, some statement like that, and it's just like, okay, hey, you know what? This is a very sensitive topic. Okay, you're
yeah,
talking about children being killed and just innocent life being taken away. So, and she made that statement, and I don't know if she was saying that to be, to get attention, draw attention to herself, or whatever. But here's the thing: I talked about these terrorist attacks getting ready to occur here in the United States. These politicians think they can say and do whatever they want. Okay, and not too many of them have ever had the fight brought to them. You see what I'm saying? So these people need to be a little bit more aware, because this is not a game. Okay, because if these so-called members of Hamas or AQ decide to attack, and they decide, and of course it's going to be violent. That's what they're about. Okay,
yeah,
a lot of people are going to get hurt, including, and just think if they start to target the politicians about the things that they've said. Okay,
there was a young 21-year-old man with an AR-15 style weapon arrested outside the Russell Senate building
yeah,
this
yeah, but
past
that's
week.
an mo. He's crazy. He's crazy.
Yeah,
If that
yeah,
were a real terrorist, he just would have been blasting people left and right. It wouldn't have mattered.
yeah, right.
Okay, so the whole thing about it is people really need to be cautious and aware of the things that they say. Then, people think it's cute or whatever to say, things about Palestinian kids and vice versa about, the Israelis. There's nothing cute or funny about innocent people losing their lives.
Not
And
at all.
people and a lot of people take that to heart. And you have to keep in mind there are a lot of unstable people out here in this world,
Oh my gosh.
right?
Yeah,
There's a
yeah,
lot of unstable people
yeah,
out here in this world. And this representatives like, well, I don't use social media. If people want to find me, my information's right there. Like, why, why would you even put yourself out there like that?
Exactly. Why put that in somebody's head?
Right. You see, because you're telling people where you are, but you don't know what someone else is thinking. You see, someone could come.
Yeah.
They might not come directly to that office building where you are, but I mean, you don't know what people's backgrounds are. You see, who knows? Who knows? You might have some idiot that tried to maybe was a sniper somewhere, and they want to, and because you said that, maybe they're in their feelings, they're not emotionally stable. They might want to target you for that statement. You see,
Yeah.
but people think like that disrespect and all that's cool. It's not cool, especially now.
No.
And
And as toxic as the internet is, people are gonna think that they can do and say whatever they want, and some people are gonna find out that that's just not the
right, and
case.
a lot of these politicians, they better be. I'm telling you now, they better be careful about the things that they say and the things that they do, because, like I said,
Totally agree.
there's a lot of people out here that, one, they're emotionally unstable, okay, but then also you're going to have these members of Hamas that are targeting the United States, Al Qaeda targeting us, and they're supposed to be in 18 different cities, major cities in the United States of America, right? So
And we are also going to have lone wolf United States citizens that have heard so much about this that they feel they have to act.
right, so um, you know, I really feel for the Jewish community. I really do, because if Netanyahu keeps um, keeps this up and keeps killing these innocent Palestinians, let me tell you right now, I really believe that, of course, the world's going to turn against Netanyahu, but right here in the United States, a lot of Jewish people are going to end up getting killed. This is just what I'm saying. Like if you keep killing these Palestinians and their children, there's gonna be a repercussion. There's gonna be a blowback for that. You see, and possibly a lot of Jewish people are gonna end up losing their lives. And this is just what I'm seeing. Okay, not that I'm psychic, right? But I know.
No, yeah.
But I do know human behavior. Okay, I do know that, and I do know.
And there's going to be retribution. That's just the way it works. There's going to be retribution. I mean, right now, Hamas and the Palestinians are getting retribution, and the people on the West Bank are getting retribution for what happened October 7th. Eventually, there'll be retribution for what Israel's doing.
Yes.
And the more that's done, the bigger the retribution.
Right, and that's the thing. People just really need to be a little bit more aware. And like I said, this stuff is not cute. It's not funny, because if they decide to bring the fight to you, you're gonna see how funny it's not. You might thought the stuff was cute then, but when it comes, you're not gonna think it's funny at the time, because now your life's gonna be on the line. And I'm saying that in all sincerity, so that people here in the United States, I hate to see the loss of life. That's all I'm saying. So just be a little bit more.
Yeah.
That's all.
All right, man. Monday night,
we'll be back at it.
I appreciate you, man. Okay. You have a great weekend.
You too now.
We'll talk.
For sure.
Thank you all. We talked about a lot of things tonight. I think this is an important episode. I think a lot of people should see and hear and think about what we've been talking about tonight. If you agree with that, please share the video. If you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. And again, please consider sharing this because I think there's some things that people need to think about. Nobody's talking about um, the potential plight of the Christians in that Middle Eastern area, or some of the other things we discussed here tonight. And I thank you all for hanging here. Those of you hanging to the end, thank you so very much. If you're not watching live, thank you for taking the time to watch this. And again, please consider subscribing. Hit the notification bell. Hit that like button too. That helps. And if you want to help support this show, Cash App's the best way to do it. $ American Doofus, all one word. And americandufus@gmail.com if you'd like to communicate with me. Again, thank you. There's, I don't know, I just got this incredibly weird vibration, like, don't close out just yet. Be cautious. Like I said, I just got I don't know. I just got this weird vibration. Like this weekend, be cautious this weekend. The rest of tonight, tomorrow and Sunday. Be cautious. Be cautious all the time, but be especially aware this weekend. I'm not sure why. Just kind of, I almost didn't even stop and say it, but it was like kind of overwhelming. Like, let everybody know to take care of yourselves this weekend. Take care of other people. Look out for things. Something may happen this weekend. I don't know. But anyway, thank you for watching. Peace to everyone. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste. Shalom, shalom. Assalamu alaikum. Blessings be upon you from the one true living God, the Most High, His Son Christ Jesus, if you so wish Him and you so accept Him. If not, I love you. Love you all like chocolate chip cookies. Positive vibrations. Live long and prosper. Peace. Peace and love. Send it out. Send it out. That's if you're a fellow Christian, I don't talk about it a lot. That's what we're supposed to do. I'm not supposed to talk about wiping people off the face of the earth. I'm supposed to send out peace and love. Now, I'm also a realist, but if we don't do it, who's gonna? Take care of yourselves. See you next time.